Hey heroes, welcome in. We are your hosts for hire. I am Kyle Cage. This is Lucas Rand. Today we're going to give a little bit of our own personal ideas. We're going to get a little personal on today's episode. But first, please head over to YouTube at Hosts4Hire podcast. That's Hosts4Hire with the number 4 podcast. And we're just trying to push to as many as we can. We just hit 3,000 thanks to you guys, which is incredible. We very quickly went from under 1,000 to over 3,000.
We're going for 5.
We're going for 5 now. Help push us there. And then head over to our Patreon if you want to become a superhero, and we'll give you a shout out at the end of each episode.
And we're just asking for like $5, so like each of that, like all of that goes back just like right into the podcast. You know, we're trying to elevate, upgrade everything that we can do.
Just up the production value.
So something that's like a hidden secret desire of Kyle and I's in our lives is to become comic writers. It's something that, at least for me, has been like a deep, deep desire of mine for like my whole life. So as such, we have like a huge catalog of like ideas and stuff that we've been bouncing off of each other for the last like decade of our friendship. And so we wanted to like pitch a few of them to you guys and see which sharing. One of these 5 what ifs that we like narrowed down for today's episode would you want to see like in an actual comic.
Yes. And if you enjoy this, we'll start pitching other ideas. We have comic lines that we've been thinking of, a whole original comics. We'll get more into it if you guys enjoy this. Let us know in the comments if you want to hear more about it. But the first one that we had was, what if heroes needed a getaway?
Yeah, so the idea of this one was like a one-shot about a place that like heroes would need to go to like decompress and like drink, you know, or like socialize, like maybe get into a little like drugs, you know, like just kind of like do the human thing of escapism,
decompressing after spending all their time servicing others and being, you know, of service, you know.
Yeah, and so the idea is that this comic would be told from the perspective of Dazzler, which is the lead entertainer at this place where the heroes unwind.
Yeah,
and just kind of like going through her daily operations as that lead entertainer, you know, like how nervous she feels, or like the pressure, like the excitement, like the payoff at the end, you know, like all of the like little things throughout that day. I feel like that'd be really cool.
Yeah. And a part of that being that the reason why she's so nervous, even though she's, you know, like Dazzler and she performs all the time, is because it's important to her that this audience enjoys itself. Because they do the good, they do the most work and the most good out of anyone.
Her work is to alleviate them, you know, like kind of like that great Jim Carrey quote where like he says that like his purpose in life is to like alleviate people of like stress.
And that's his view of comedy. Which is amazing. That's a great way to put, like, that would be her view of her job in this.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
Yeah, let us know if you think that'd be fun to check out. That one, you know, a little bit more lighthearted. We do have another
unknown character, a character that doesn't get a whole lot of light and a whole lot of love often.
Yeah, for sure. Another one was there's really no other way to put it. What if Galactus did an Ocean's 11?
Okay, so this one we thought of last night at like 3 a.m. Like just like a total, just like I was working on some stuff and I was like, oh, like whoa, totally got into a separate tangent. And the idea is that what if Galactus? It actually came over. There's a comic out where Gambit gets made into the Herald of Galactus for like this, like he needs to steal something for Galactus. And I just like ran with that concept. And the idea is like, what if Galactus needed to like create a heist crew? You know, like the classic, like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah. Like it starts with him going back to Gambit and being like, hey, I got another job for you. And him being like, this one's a bigger one. We might need a crew. And then going, and you had mentioned like Mysterio.
Gambit just being like Jason Statham being like, I don't do jobs no more. Who's the crew?
What's the job?
I
But like
told you I don't do no jobs.
Mysterio would be really great for like
Yes.
distraction and being like, like creating mayhem for them to,
Yeah, there
escape.
being these characters like, and then like Daredevil for Lookout,
Hmm.
like Nightcrawler to like get them in.
I just thought of
Uh,
this just now, but Patch for his connections.
ooh,
Like
ooh,
have like
I like
Patch
that
like
because
not be a herald, but like Gambit use Patch for
that's super
his.
interesting. Like that they're stealing something from Madripoor or something like that.
Yeah, something like that maybe. Yeah, very up in
Pretty
the
cool.
air, but yeah.
Yeah, like we said, we came up with this idea at 3 in the morning yesterday. So it's just like a very conceptual, fun thought.
But let us know in the
Um,
comments who you think would be good to be on a heist team. If
yes,
in
there
Marvel,
was
like
another character that I had on there that I can't think of right now. It'll come to me. Oh, Wasp.
oh yes,
Uh,
yeah, being able to shrink and
yeah,
get into tight
infiltration.
infiltration.
All right, so then that's two.
Yep.
Third one is what if vampires? And I know there is something very similar happening in the Marvel comics right now where like people are being turned into vampires. But the idea here is that the entire world would become
Kind of
vampires.
like Marvel zombies, but
Hmm.
vampires.
Right. And then like the conflict becomes that now the heroes like Reed Richards and like Tony are working on finding ways to permanently block out the sun, just like villains were doing, like Dracula, and they were
Mhm.
stopping them for years. Now it's that they're trying to accomplish
And
this.
it's up to the
Uh,
Midnight Suns and characters like Morbius and Blade who would be kind of immune to this. Maybe even Elsa Bloodstone, like characters that would be able to fight this vampirism, and it'd be that a specific team trying to stop these heroes from achieving
yeah.
it
Oh,
and
that'd be really
reversing.
interesting. Like the Midnight Suns essentially working on a cure.
Hmm.
Whereas like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are working on blocking out the sun because people are suffering, and
Yeah,
like them both being right, but them both being wrong is like that's a pretty interesting.
yeah.
Um,
That's a dichotomy. Yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy. But
all
we
right,
had a couple more here. We we had one of them was a little goofier, and we'll just go with that one. It was what if Santa disappeared? Because I know like Santa is canonical in a few very small Marvel comics, but he is
yes,
there, and he has been he
and
is
he is
quote the
powerful.
most powerful mutant ever detected by Cerebro. He's the most powerful mutant on the planet. Um, but the premise would be that he goes missing a few days before Christmas because it's also canonical that on Christmas Eve and on Christmas he gets a boost to his powers. That's when he becomes his most powerful. So a few days before that, when he's actually a little tired from preparing for Christmas, he goes missing. He disappears, and Nick Fury, having set a tracker on Santa Claus years beforehand, it was had
Classic
made
Nick
made
Fury.
sure that made sure that he was tracking his movements. He enlists the Legion of Monsters, like a group which we did a little research on this because I had never really heard of, like, I knew there was a
Yeah,
monster team, but I didn't know
I
it
had
was
thought that
like
they
a
were called like the
specific.
Howling Commandos or something like that.
Which looking into it, there was a version of the Howling Commandos because obviously there was the World War II Bucky and Captain
Yeah.
America Howling Commandos, but there was the third iteration of them were monsters, which consisted very
Yeah.
similar ranks. But point is, like Werewolf by Night, like all the Halloween
Man Thing,
characters, Man Thing,
like Morbius,
all the Halloween
the Living
characters
Mummy.
would come together to save Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which would be really dope. Honestly, like that's a super cool idea. That like a lot of these were just like in an idea folder, just like as names. Just like every now and then, like we'll have an idea. We're just like, oh, write that down. Like, write that down
Yeah.
because we are naturally forgetful people.
Yes,
Uh,
and we learned from our mistakes over the years.
yeah,
There's a lot of ideas that have just gone in the wind. They
yeah.
are
Oh,
just
100%. Yeah. So a lot of these concepts are just like real loose concepts, but like, which one of them would you think would make the coolest, like fleshed out full comic book? The heroes need a getaway. What if heroes need a getaway with the Dazzler? What if Galactus did a Ocean's 11? What if vampires? Or what if Santa disappears before Christmas?
Let us know which ones you would want to see more of, like you said, and we'll work on those ones. We'll try and put something
Right.
out for you, maybe. And let us know in the comments as well your pitches, what you think would make good What If episodes.
100%. And we will judge them and we will grade them and we will talk about them in an episode maybe if we think that
Yeah,
they're
we'll
really, really
shout
cool.
definitely if you make a comment with a suggestion, we will definitely shout it out in the next episode we make.
Yeah.
For sure. We do appreciate you stopping by. Again, stop by YouTube, Hosts for Hire podcast, and YouTube, trying to hit that 5K. We do appreciate you. Thanks for coming by, and we will see you on the next one.